Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead, Councilmember Edgar, Councilmember Radner, and Councilmember Crawford.
Here. Everyone's here. Is there a motion? Oh, first, we need to add item 10A to the agenda, awarding a bid. 10A. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. The consent agenda are routine items presented for approval without discussion as a single agenda item. Any council member can ask to have one item considered separately. A, regular city council meeting minutes for November 3rd, 2025. B, payment request from Newman Smith Architecture for architectural services on the Event Hub project for the total amount of $4,122. C, request to waive permit fees for the community center and Tyler Park projects. D, first quarter fiscal year 25-26 investment report. E, budget to actual report for period ending 9/30/25. F, approval of payment application number 3 to Alball Masonry, Stone and Tile Incorporated of Waterford, Michigan, for the Event Hub masonry work in the amount of $103,270.31. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We don't have any elected officials, so we are down to item 7 in our agenda, special recognition presentations. First, an update on the controversial 696 project.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, and City Manager Tungate. The City Manager asked me to put a presentation on tonight's agenda and invite members from MDOT to attend tonight to explain basically the second phase of the MDOT 696 project. As you know, changes were made last weekend. Some of the exits were shut down, so we have Al Bacon and Jason Early here. Al is the Assistant Construction Engineer for the job. Al's going to have a little slideshow here. He'll take you through a couple things, and he's happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right. Thank you for the introduction, Dave. I greatly appreciate it. So this is just a quick rundown of our traffic switch that happened this weekend. Took a lot of man hours to get that together, but now we have officially westbound traffic on the finished eastbound pavement lanes.
So this weekend, what exactly happened?
So this weekend, we completed striping on all our crossovers, and we were able to take the westbound traffic that was originally on westbound lanes and transfer that onto the completed eastbound pavement. So you'll see as you come in from, let's say, either southbound 75 or coming, westward into past 75, you'll come into a crossover, and that will get you basically going into the opposite direction on the finished eastbound pavement lanes. And I'll go through this presentation, and I'll basically be able to tell you, what ramps are closed and what ramps are still accessible to get back onto the north side of the service drive.
Okay.
Okay, so a quick introduction here of the overall project. This project runs from 2025 to 2027. So this year was primarily reconstructing the eastbound pavement. So as of right now, this weekend, that is completed, and westbound traffic is now shifted over. 2026 is going to be, and starting also this winter right now is the reconstruction of westbound pavement lanes. And then 2027, that is simply a patching job from 75 to DeQuinder, so very minimal impact to cities. So essentially, for the public, the majority of the work will end in late fall of 2026.
So in a year.
Yes. And this is a quick example of, our eastbound road work, ripping up all of the pavement and drainage and electrical and replacing it in kind. And then here's just a quick section of essentially what the roadway looks like of, we've picked up cars off westbound, put them on the eastbound lanes, and separated them by either temporary concrete barrier wall or the finished medium barrier wall.
What are those red ovals and pink
Those-
circles?
The red ovals there are where we have crossovers. So I've got slides of each individual crossover I can go through quickly. But essentially you have access to Losser off-ramp is open to use. Southfield westbound ramps on and off are available to you. Woodward on and off ramps to westbound are available. And then 75, coming southbound on 75 to westbound is available to you.
Isn't Southfield open?
Yes, in Southfield, on and off ramps are available. So the primary ramps Oak Park will use will primarily be the Woodward on and off ramps to and from westbound, and then also the Southfield.
And this will be for a year.
Yes. Let's see. That's kind of stretching out of. Basically, this shows in the red dot line here where your crossover for westbound traffic.
We can't see that.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty. That's pretty light. Yeah, I've got a lot more close-ups of this. Essentially, it just shows the path of going westbound off 696 and how you transfer over to the eastbound lanes going the opposite direction. But we've got enough signage, reflectors, positive protection. It really shouldn't feel like you're on the opposite side of the road. So here is your primary detour if you are going eastbound. So eastbound is still, that direction is still detoured for all of next year. So your normal detour that you were taking before going eastbound is still getting on M10 and then getting on to or Telegraph. So that will remain exactly the same. That's still hard to see? Yeah, a little bit. Basically, this just describes all the bridges we've completed. So, there's several crossover bridges, essentially from, we can estimate Losser to Southfield. A majority of these crossover bridges that everyone uses to go to and from your neighborhoods to the service drives, those have been completed. And then Southfield to Woodward, again, about half those bridges are completed. And
What about Church Street?
Church Street, let me get that. Yep, I've got a little bit close up for that. Here we go. So this is Church Street or Victoria Park. We are now in the reconstruction phase. We completed the demo phase of taking down this plaza bridge entirely in this year, and now we've moved over to getting ready to reconstruct the westbound side of this bridge by installing beams later this winter. And you'll see this be reconstructed throughout 2026. And again, this should open up late fall 2026. And that will have the road portion to the left that you can see and the new park. And again, the same pedestrian detour is going to remain the same all throughout next year. So nothing will change there.
You said the new park would be finished by 26?
Late 26, we should have a majority of that park finished, with 2027 as a, first couple of months of 2027 as a possible time to finish every piece of the park if needed. And this is what it would, a rendering of what it would look like. So looks, yeah, fairly similar. I like the pergolas myself, gives you guys more shade when you're watching the grandkids, so. Yeah, this is just a quick shots of, the new beams coming in. It's a brand new design, no more icicle leaking that's possible at all. It's a completely new design. Basically, it forces all water into giant collections of under drain and shoots it off to the service drives. So I've got a lot of different slides after this of individual crossovers and bridges and things if you guys have any specific questions. But this is our contact. You can email us anytime or give us
Can
our
you
project.
read that out loud?
Yeah, the phone number is 248-930-1777.
Now, is this the ombudsman or what?
Yes, this would go to our ombudsman,
And what's his name?
Brian Morley.
Spell his last name, please.
Morley.
Okay.
And he is for our consultant, Great Lakes Engineering. And he immediately transferred these calls and emails over to our project. It goes to me personally and the construction engineer with MDOT, my boss, Brian Travis. And same day we get emails back, phone calls back. We want to know if, the public sees something that doesn't seem right or has just a general question on, hey, when is this bridge going to be completed? Mostly all these bridges are supposed to be completed within anywhere from 30 to 60 days. So if you have a question on when a bridge is going to be completed, or maybe a sidewalk, when is that going to be opened up, that you might use to, get your bike around the city, we can answer that the same day that you contact us, so.
Can you read just what's on that slide out loud?
Yes. I read off the project phone number, that 248-930-1777.
Yep.
The project website is www.drivingoakland.com. It has a tab that says Restore the Ruther Phase 2. It's the third giant tab. Lane closures, we keep those very up to date. You can go to michigan.gov/drive. That's the MyDrive site. We work really hard to keep that as up to date as possible. Twitter at @MDOT_MetroDET. And then the project email is MDOT-metro-I696@michigan.gov.
City Manager Eric Tungate has a question.
Gentlemen, I want to thank both of you for taking the time to be here this evening. Very much appreciated. I do have a couple of questions. First, this, as you can imagine, is incredibly disruptive to our community. One of the reasons we want to have this presentation tonight is that we want to make sure that we're sharing information as clearly and concisely and up to date as we possibly can. My question is, beyond us sharing the information you are providing us, is there anything else that we can do? Because so many, especially now that the change has happened over, so many of our residents are now, completely unaware of what's happening.
Your question is, what can the city?
Is there something more we can do than we're already doing to get the word out? Maybe other resources that you have or provide or know of?
I can provide this presentation, which provides a lot of picture slides of individual bridges, their detours, how these crossovers work. And that can provide, basically you can go by individual crossover ramps to target your communities or neighborhoods to give them a little bit more information. I can email the city approximate bridge closures. We'll keep you guys up to date. But that'll give you a better view on month to month. You know, this bridge will be closed, you know, roughly from, you know, May to June or May to mid-June. We can give you that schedule.
That'd be fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. My second question is this, and this is a little bit of a selfish question because I live about 4 miles away and it takes me about 20 to 30 minutes to get here and back every day without using the freeways. Is there any chance, maybe you can't answer this, but is there any chance this gets done ahead of schedule and we're not sitting here at this time next year still talking about this?
These schedules are already very accelerated for the amount of work that has to be done in the time frame we have. And we are on schedule, and we check these schedules versus actuals weekly of, you know, what operation has been done, checking with foremen and our inspectors to make sure that those actual completion dates match the schedule, and that's done weekly. To accelerate is exorbitantly expensive.
Are they
It's-
incentivized to accelerate though, in the
They're-
contracts?
They are extremely penalized if they go over their schedule timeline. So every day that the construction company, Toby, does not complete the open to traffic date, they are fined $100,000. So it's a very steep
But that's after the
penalty.
contract date though, right? They're penalized after that date, not, right.
Correct.
And there aren't any incentives built into the contract to have them get it done quicker.
There's only incentives to basically have the most amount of highest quality of work. There's several incentives there. Schedule-wise, there is not a acceleration incentive on this project.
It's a stick, not a carrot situation,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
What's that? Yep. City council members, are there questions? This is Councilmember Julie Edgar.
Hi, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Just 2 questions.
Mhm.
When is the ramp, the eastbound ramp off of Telegraph going to open?
Eastbound ramp off of Telegraph.
So south, the interchange where you go off west and east from Telegraph if you're heading south
Gotcha.
from 12 Mile.
Just to look that one up. Pretty confident
To
that
go
would,
eastbound, you're saying?
Yes.
that would be next, late November of next year to go eastbound 696 from Telegraph.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's, yeah, that, MDOT recognizes this as extremely painful project for the communities, the cities. We understand. That's why we are, one, trying to get the most value out of the state of Michigan tax dollars by doing an overlay, giving the communities a 30-year lifespan on this highway, so we don't have to come back here and do this painful work for another 30 years. So hopefully everyone's, you know, retired and doesn't have to deal with this. So yes, we understand these are very painful projects, and we are very receptive to phone calls, emails, trying to reach out to cities to get you guys the most up-to-date on, you know, what bridges are closed, when things are going to open, and then, you know, in responding to individuals on, you know, even how do they get out of their neighborhood? You know, any question we are going to try and answer to the best ability, and work with, the citizens and cities to make sure this is at least a little bit less painful.
It is painful for our businesses because both of the city ramps are closed at the same time.
Madam Mayor, just a question. This is also mainly is an aesthetic, a question about aesthetics. So I noticed on the service drive, the 10-mile service drive, they're redoing some of the brickwork on the barrier wall. So we have a barrier wall here that extends west of Church Street, and there have been missing bricks for a very long time. I understand that the city has contacted MDOT about replacing these bricks, but it really is unsightly, and we have that's a park. Are you going to fix that while you're doing the rest of the work?
Yep. So, those sound walls with the brickwork that's, damaged, and it's got limestone caps that are damaged or sometimes even missing. Those have been packaged into this project to take on quite a few of those. I think there's 6 areas of those sound walls to be repaired, bricks put back in place that match color as close as we can. And then the limestone caps being replaced where they're damaged. So that is included in the project, and that will be worked on primarily in late 2026 and into 2027.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Are there further questions from council members? No. Thank you for coming and facing the heat.
No problem, guys.
And I'm sure that when this is all finished, we will be happy with a nice, fresh expressway and fixed bricks and all of that. And in the meantime, we will pray for patience.
Thank you.
It's good to see somebody fixing the damn roads.
We're trying.
Thank you again for these guys for showing up today. Like you said,
Thank
it's
you
tough
both.
to give bad news. I will give one quick shameless plug. On our website, we have our current project portal and our dashboard. We also provide updates on that essentially weekly. We link back to MDOT's pages, so you can see a localized closure list on our website as well that's updated. Again, we link back to all the MDOT websites that do the same thing, but
And how do we find that on our website?
I believe it's on the, it's on the homepage, about a
Homepage.
quarter of the way down. It says current projects.
On the right of the homepage.
Yep, and then we can talk to Brittany about putting on Facebook as well.
Verify it's on the right
Continue to share on social media, but the key is 696 is open, westbound only, and the exits, again, will be closed. Oak Park exits will be closed throughout 2026, so.
And people ask me, do we have to get off the expressway at Woodward and get on it at Southfield? No, you can drive through, you just can't get off and on.
Correct.
So even that, people are unaware of. And the illustrations probably make a lot of sense to engineers, but to the average bear, it's sort of,
I'll see if I can pluck some of
Squiggles.
those images off the presentation. Maybe we can shrink them down for a more sizable
super,
social media post.
super. Good. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. It's like going to the dentist.
Thank you for the questions.
All right. B. Director Kim Maroney is going to talk about the 9-mile Coolidge and intersection study, which is very positive. Future developments for Oak Park that will cheer us up after we got depressed.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. So tonight I have a representative from OHM, Eric Dreyer here, who's going to go through the presentation. We've been working with OHM over the last probably 6 or so months in establishing how the intersection at 9 and Coolidge could look like, so we can continue that bike path that we started on the east end of town and connected all the way through to Southfield, being part of the 9 line, which Oakland County helped us and all the other southern Oakland County communities establish a route all the way through. So I think Eric is right here.
Thanks. All right. Thanks for having me today. As Kim mentioned, Eric Dreyer with OHM Advisors. I'm a transportation planner and principal and lead our planning and landscape architecture group. So I have the fun job of giving you some pretty pictures to look at and getting everybody excited about 9 Mile and Coolidge. I think I've got some slides here. Yeah, there we go. So as Kim mentioned, this kind of came about through the 9-line study a couple of years ago. We worked with Oakland County, Oak Park, and a number of other communities to essentially develop a route for a trail that goes from I-75 and initially stopped at I-275 and now has continued all the way to the Oakland County border in South Lyon. So all of the South Oakland County communities are on board with this, and a key part of this was how do we extend the current trail through the intersection of 9 and Coolidge, which is pretty constrained right now. There's not a lot of extra space to be able to push that through. And then we started thinking, as we started talking about this, can that trail be an economic development driver? What does the future development look like? If it is an economic development driver, what does the future of 9 and Coolidge look like? So we worked with Kim and Eric and Dave and a couple others to take a look at what this area could look like. So we're kind of focused right there in the center of Oak Park, 9 and Coolidge. You've been there before. It's fairly auto-oriented. There's lots of parking. There's some traffic spikes in the AM and PM. And generally, it's not a place that people really want to go and walk and bike and have that kind of that urban feel. You look just a couple blocks down to the east, and it's walkable, and there's the great linear park, and there's lots of local businesses, but you sort of lose that as you get close to the intersection. So we started with very technical analysis, looking at all the existing conditions, including a traffic analysis. And the traffic study was really to understand what could we do here. Can we narrow the roadway and still have a functional roadway? And so we used data from spring of 2025. This includes some of the traffic constraints that have happened since the closure of 696. So even with that increased kind of divergent traffic demand, we found with a couple of small alterations of having a road diet, if you want to go down that road, wouldn't significantly impact operations. We'd have to do a little.
I have just a question.
Sure.
The traffic study was conducted while 696 is closed for repairs.
Yes.
Putting more traffic on our mile roads, does that skew the results at all?
It skews it towards, I guess, there's more traffic currently.
Yeah.
And that was something that we did take into account. But we still did the analysis with those numbers from the spring of 2025, and it's right on the edge. Knowing that those numbers are going to go back down in 2 years, we think you can make a road diet work if you really wanted to. The only thing that we would have to do is keep right turn lanes from 9 Mile onto Coolidge. That is the movement. So if you're coming eastbound, turning north, going westbound, turning north, coming eastbound, turning south. Those were needed. Those are the big movements that people are taking. They're usually going north up to 696 or other places in northern Oakland County. So we went through a pretty detailed process here and ultimately came up with something that you're probably not going to be able to see because of the tiny screen, but
Can I ask what the green dots are?
those are trees.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So I will send this. Kim and Eric have a copy of this. And what we ultimately came up with was essentially a 3-lane cross section through the intersection. It keeps the same kind of profile as what you see to the east of the intersection. Most importantly, it gives us enough space to add a 12-foot shared use pathway on the north side of the street. So it would continue where the trailhead is through the intersection, and on the next slide I'll show you where it terminates, and then you could have a similar treatment to what's on 9 Mile east of the area with the cycle track on the south side. We looked at the Grant is on McClellan and Dante Streets and sort of formalizing those as real roads rather than, there's one that's kind of a real road, but the other two are sort of alleyways or parking lots, as backup release valves that help take some of the traffic off of the intersection.
So they
and
would
then-
be like turned back into real roads?
Yeah, yeah. And,
Yeah.
and I'll show more of that in a second here. And then again, additional space for landscaping and greening the street up and making more space for people to feel comfortable walking, biking. And what's even more exciting is when you tie that with some of the development ideas. So a little bit further view out of what the study area looks like. And so there's connections to a future bike lane, connections to the existing cycle track. And then
The two red circles, what are they?
that kind of shows the transition period from the one on the right side there, that's the existing bike lane, existing cycle track that you already have. And then we thought, well, you can continue that same kind of pathway or that same kind of roadway treatment on the west side as you get out of this really constrained area. And you can see there on the screen, there's some formalization of those roads there that kind of go around the development. And so after we had come up with a concept for the roadway, the idea was to think about how do those three quadrants there, the northwest, the northeast, and the southeast, start to be reimagined into something that's a little bit, more modern and exciting. So this is a plan view shot, overhead shot of what this could look like. Really, we wanted to go at this with kind of a mix of uses. So the purple buildings you see there are mixed use. They have a mix of residential, some office potentially, and then commercial space, both retail and restaurant.
So this is the first floor restaurants and businesses
Yep.
and second floor residents.
Yes. And these are really targeted towards the busier parts of the intersection where there's lots more potential for foot traffic and
And
views.
is there parking for those people?
There's parking in the inside the buildings themselves, and those gray boxes there are parking decks. The brownish, orangish color, those are just multifamily units. Those are just apartment buildings. Those also have parking inside of them as the first floor. And then the yellow buildings are townhouses. And so what we've done is tried to balance this. Everything that you see here is to the zoning code. It meets the parking requirements that are established in this area. So we started with parking and said, we know we need to hold vehicles. We don't want it to be the driving force of this area, but it's part of the deal. We got to have some places to park cars. And really what we're showing here is the highest intensity use that you could do, based on the code, based on what you can do legally. This includes 7-story buildings at the intersection. That's not necessarily what you necessarily need to go with, but it does prove the concept that this can work. And as you start to talk with developers, it may or may not make economic sense. 4 to 7 stories is kind of where you want to be. And so ultimately that adds 730 residential units, mostly based in residential flats, so your standard apartments, but 70 townhouses spread throughout there that help kind of transition these higher intensity uses into the neighborhoods that are on either side. And then importantly, over 2,900 parking spaces to serve all of those. And those are split between those 3 decks there. All the townhouses park themselves. There's garages underneath. And then same with the multifamily buildings. And I guess I didn't mention the internal roadway network. You can kind of see that there's some neighborhood streets within there that allow for more connectivity, allow the neighbors, you go out and walk your dog and you see your neighbors out there walking their dog. There's a park space in here. There's a couple plaza spaces. And I guess I will caveat this with, this is not set in stone in any sort of way. It's a proof of concept. This can work. It's based in reality. And if we take another look at this from
Back one, what were the blue squares or
the
rectangles?
blue, so the red is retail, commercial or restaurant. The blue is a flexible space. It could be office if there's the demand for office, but it could easily just as well be residential.
Or park.
Oh, On the building or on this?
Those turquoise blue?
Oh, those are pools
Ah,
for the residents.
I see.
Yeah. So the blue on this,
Oh.
on this image here is potentially office space. If there is the demand for office, the floor plate of these buildings is the same as a residential building. And we've seen some developers kind of dipping their toe into that kind of small office space where, you may have a law firm or an accounting firm or somebody that has, not a ton of need for space, but, they want to take up the corner of a building like this. But if there's no demand for it, it could very easily just be apartments. So it's very flexible, what we're showing here. Really, this is to kind of get developers and property owners excited. And what we see as kind of the next steps are to start down this road if you like the idea of a road diet or some sort of improvements to 9 Mile, studying this further and coming up with a detailed design. This is, fairly conceptual. It's based in fact. It's based in what we studied, but there was one engineer on the team, and this is a little bit more creative than what you would see from a detailed drawing.
City Manager Tungate.
Eric, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
And for working with us. You guys are wonderful to work with. You're much taller in person.
I get that a lot. Zoom hides it. It's
Council members, I believe in your package, you have the full report.
Yes.
But I wanted to bring your attention to page 83, which is the beginning of, I don't know if I'm skipping you ahead here by doing this, but
No, go for it.
it's the beginning of the implementation section of the report. And
Oh,
so
yes.
quickly, could you, in other words,
Is it 83?
page 83 of the report. Yeah. It might be page 58 too. It's 83 of the, I'm sorry, page 58 of the report. Right there, there you go.
Implementation.
And so it gives us some guideposts to look at in terms of the next steps to take to sort of bring this to reality. And part of that is there's properties, like the Walgreens property sitting vacant.
Yep.
There are some prime opportunities for us to go out and seek development that would meet some of the new requirements, let's call it. But
Yeah.
could you briefly speak to the steps in this implementation?
Yeah, because this is kind of it's a multi-pronged approach. We've got a streetscape and an infrastructure project with the 9 Mile improvements, and then we've got private development that could follow, maybe comes at the same time. What we've seen really successful in other communities is using an infrastructure project, a streetscape project, to spur on private development.
We've done that on 9 Mile Road.
You've done it, yes, exactly.
We've award-winning 9 Mile Road redo
Yeah.
from a very tired street to one that's bringing development,
Exactly.
attracting. One developer told us if we hadn't done all of that work, he would have put his development elsewhere.
Right. So you've got examples of it in your own community. We've seen it in other communities in the region. Developers are looking for sort of a commitment from cities to say, okay, they're investing in here, I'm going to invest in here too. And so the implementation plan lays out a kind of series of events, both on the infrastructure side and kind of the things that you can control, and then the development side, which you have some control over, but ultimately it's up to investors and developers and property owners to put the money in to help realize the vision.
Right, and I want to just clarify, some of the implementation recommendations include some zoning ordinance changes,
Exactly,
correct?
yeah.
To allow for some of these higher uses.
Yep, and generally having meetings, working with these existing property owners to show them the vision, get them excited and say, hey, let's reimagine what your property could be. Could be this, or could sit vacant.
Yeah.
And so what we tried to do is kind of lay that out step by step, start with a couple of what we're calling proof of concept or projects that kind of get the vision off the ground. And so we've identified a phase one, the Walgreens site, as you mentioned. Already been a little bit of conversation there, but that's a prime piece of property that's could take the first step in helping realize the vision, and then hoping that it snowballs with
Yes.
some of the
City
future
Manager
work.
Tungate.
Yep.
So on another note, so council members, our community is 99.9 99% built out, I believe. So there's not a tremendous amount of opportunities for us to build new housing. So in my opinion, as you see here in the recommendations, unless we're looking at these kinds of development opportunities, I mean, this one adds somewhere around 700, between 700 and 800 new residential units into our community. You know, this is how we go from this point forward, being that we are built out.
Exactly. Yep. We need to start rethinking the way that we use space in communities like this, where you have a prime location. It's in the center of town. There's lots of parking and lots of pavement that could be used for a higher and better use. And in this case, it's housing people.
And density, improving density.
Exactly. And I think we've seen in communities, you know, around the state and around the country, take this approach and have success from both finding places for people to live and building those places, and also essentially building the city that they want to see, and attracting new people to their community, and doing so in a way that is, I guess, realizing the characteristics and unique aspects of Oak Park in this case.
Somewhere around, on 9 Mile, west of Coolidge, on the south side, there was parking that had been, that you want to change to parallel from angle parking, and that means you've got less parking spaces, right?
Right.
And that was an area that you defined as a lot of parking being used every day and a need for parking, and here this is going to lower the number of parking spaces. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, it is a reduction in parking. It's not a huge reduction. I think what we saw from the parking study was, I don't remember the exact figures. You guys have the report in front of you. Maybe, 70 or 80% full on any given time. And really what this adjustment of space does is changes one side from angled parking to parallel, and it allows for a larger sidewalk space. So the hope is that we can deal with 15 or 20 less parking spaces with the exchange for space for these businesses to have a patio, have a space to spill out onto the sidewalk, have a comfortable place for folks to walk, either from their house or from a farther away parking spot, and knowing that, again, parking is still part of the equation. We can't get rid of it because that still helps people get around. But rebalancing that a little bit more to make more space for people.
And there would be on the other 3 corners, parking garages, sort
Yes,
of.
exactly.
So if you didn't mind walking across the street.
Yes. Yep, exactly. There's going to be enough parking to support all of the businesses within that.
Yeah. We're sort of spoiled in this area, expecting a parking space right in front of the building. Friends came from New York and said, I got the best parking space. It was only 3 blocks away.
Yeah. And I guess it's part of the reason why we want to reimagine what 9 Mile looks like is if you do have to park across the street, it's not a bad walk. You're not, going across and thinking you're going to get hit by a car. Cars are driving at a normal speed. They're slowing down. It's only a short couple of steps across the street.
And I noticed you're uniting 3 bus stops into one.
Yes, that's more of a potential option to consolidate operations from a transit side. As I ride the bus every once in a while, and it gets kind of annoying when you're like, okay, there's a stop here, and then a block away there's another stop. What we would like to do is have 2 really nice stops, like invest a little bit more into those 2 main stops at the corner, larger shelter, maybe some real-time arrival signage, bike racks, things like that make it an inviting place to stay. And then it speeds up travel time a little bit more, and it makes the overall experience better for riders.
And you're putting in islands for crossing mid-block.
Yes. Those would have to be, those are one of the things that we'd have to study a little bit more in detail with some roadway designers. But again, knowing that this is going to be, it tended to be a walkable area, walkable district, we don't want 9 Mile to be a barrier. We want it to be just another street that you're crossing. And so those mid-block crossings are helpful to sort of facilitating that movement.
Nice. And everyone complains about it's slowing traffic, but we're slowing traffic on purpose.
Yes. Slowing traffic for safety's sake. What we noticed, we did a crash analysis as well, and the area east of Coolidge, on the north side of the street where there's driveways every 20 feet, that had the highest concentration of rear end and turning collisions. And so what we found is that it's likely because there's so many driveways there and people aren't paying attention and they're just running into people in the back.
Too many curb cuts.
Too many curb cuts, exactly. And so we've taken the view that, it's going to slow vehicles down a bit. It's not going to negatively impact traffic all that much, a couple seconds. But it's ultimately going to result in a safer and more inviting place for people to walk and drive.
Nice. Mixed-use zoning. And we have, in the past, been very open to changing zoning to help development, and we're, pathways to So what is our next step?
Next step, I think our next step is to think a little bit more concretely about 9 Mile and how we might go about continuing that design through the intersection. Part of what we've been helping communities with is finding grant money to do that kind of work. So we can, and then we've talked with Kim and some others in the planning group about having those conversations with property owners and showing this to them and saying, do you want to help? Do you want to be part of this vision? And I think that's kind of those two steps kind of need to work concurrently with each other and try to start the momentum up.
Maybe promote this idea
How do we promote it?
to the businesses and the public.
I think we can point to other communities. Ferndale has done a very good job of forcing a downtown with. There's tons of traffic in downtown Ferndale, but people still go there. People actively seek out to go there, and traffic isn't in this case is not a bad thing. We want people to see this and say, I'm going to dinner in Oak Park tonight. I'm renting my next apartment in Oak Park, and start to build that excitement about what this could be, because we've got this this regional spine with the 9 line, and then this could be a major hub along that, and so getting property owners excited about the essentially the return that they could see from this, and then also considering the kind of impact to the city from a unique character building perspective.
Absolutely.
Very
It's a good
exciting.
start.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions from council members? Councilmember Crawford.
Quick question, in looking at the pre-development concept, you had 2,900 parking spaces. Is that an overestimate, or do you think
It's actually
that
an
would be?
underestimate.
I'm sorry?
It's a little bit of an underestimate.
Really?
It's about 30 spots less than what is required by the code, but we're trying to push it a little bit. We're trying to be as progressive as we can. That includes the 3 lots. There's the 3 decks, I'm sorry, a couple of parking lots, on-street parking throughout on the streets, and then each of those townhouses has a 2-car garage built under, what assumes a 2-car garage underneath it. So really the big drivers of that parking are the decks. But we tried to balance it as much as we can and try to be as progressive as we could with, again, we can't ignore all parking, or people aren't going to want to live there or go there, but we don't want an overburden with parking either. Good question.
Any further questions? Thank you so much for
absolutely.
being the bearer of glad tidings.
I'm happy to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that puts us to number 8, public hearing for the allocation of CDBG funds.
Dan Fairless is here.
Dan Fearless, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, city manager. This item before you tonight is a request for a public hearing for program year 2026 CDBG funds. And the amount before you, we're actually using last year's funds that we received of $122,359. That's due to, we don't actually know what amount we're going to receive until sometime in January. So to have a basis, we use last year's amount. And again, we are proposing to use the funds for code enforcement activities as well as senior yard services. And we are on our second year with program year 2025 being limited to 15% of our total allocation to be used for the senior yard services. And with that, I can answer any questions you might have.
And the amount for code and the amount for yard services?
So if, with the total of 122,359 projected or hopeful, that would be $104,005.15 for code enforcement and $18,353.85 for senior yard services.
And what was the past? I thought in the past we gave more for yard services? Is it,
Yes, we used to allocate 30% of our total allotted amount or the amount given to us for yard services. And now we're capped at 15%.
And who capped it?
The county or
The
CDBG
county.
regulations.
Got it.
Federal capped it 2 years ago.
Thank you. Okay. So would we open we can open the public hearing if anybody here is here to talk about the use of CDBG funds. Please come up. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing. We need a resolution approving the 2026 Community Development Block Grant allocations as discussed.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? No, I'm just, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar. Yes. Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. That puts us on item C, public hearing on the establishment of an obsolete property rehabilitation district at 21800 Greenfield Road, parcel ID 522531155003. And Director Kim Maroney is here to discuss this.
Yes, good evening again. So tonight in front of City Council, BM Ventures 2 is planning to take the old Forgotten Harvest building on Greenfield Road at 21800, and they're going to turn it into an ice manufacturing facility. The facility will be investing $12 million in the city of Oak Park and create 73 full-time equivalent positions with an average pay of $36.97 per hour.
How many positions again?
73.
73.
They are going to put a preference on residents in the city of Oak Park, and we've already discussed with them, working with Michigan Works to do a job fair for them when they are ready to hire for those positions.
Wonderful.
What's in front of you this evening is the first phase of a tax incentive, so they can make this project a reality. Without it, they would not be able to get the funding they need to move forward with the project. So this is to establish an actual obsolete property rehabilitation district, which is just that one parcel that they've acquired. And then at the next meeting on December 1st, we can consider an application for the incentive where you can grant up to 12 years of freezing their taxes at the current level. Currently, or I should say previously, the property was with a nonprofit entity, so they were paying no taxes on the property. However, you cannot do a tax incentive on a property with no taxes. So a baseline was established based on the current value of the property. So they will be paying property taxes moving forward. It'll just be frozen at that level when we set the actual exemption, but that will be at the next meeting. Tonight is just to establish the district.
Very good. So, public hearing first?
Yep.
So, the public hearing is open. If you have an opinion on establishing this obsolete property rehabilitation district at 21800 Greenfield Road. Don't see anyone rushing to comment, so we will close the public hearing. We need a resolution to establish an obsolete property rehabilitation district at 21800 Greenfield Road.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions?
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Why should we establish a district? Why not, why doesn't the company just ask for a tax break? Why do it this way?
It's a requirement per state statute in order to set up the district prior to considering an application. So we have to do it this way per state law.
We have to set up a district for this one property?
Correct.
Is this a new law?
No, we've done this on previous tax incentives. We did it for Kroger, we did it for the Loop, and we did it for the Pioneer Healthcare. So we have done it previously.
When it says obsolete, what does that mean? I mean, the building is not, it needs to be raised, or what?
No, so there's different levels that a property can receive that status. We work with the city assessor. Only the city assessor can deem a building obsolete. So some of the factors could be, it could be a blighted building. In this instance, that particular building is 30,000 square feet, which is a large footprint store. And as you know, big box stores currently, they really don't exist anymore. They've gone away. So to repurpose this building, it has to be for another use, and that will require a substantial investment from anybody who purchases it.
You said this is an ice manufacturer?
Correct. They are actually, they're in the audience. Brian Lucia is one of the owners. Value Wholesale, who has been in our city since 1995, they are making this another investment in our community, in purchasing the building and making that investment.
Do we know what the approximate investment's going to be?
$12 million.
$12 million.
And 73 very good paying jobs.
And my favorite is that the Oak Park residents get preference in hiring, so this will directly help our residents.
You know how I manufacture ice? I just put water outside of the liquid. I don't know if you guys do the same thing or not.
Thank you. Yes, they appreciate your technical input.
Good to know. Always happy to help.
Yeah. So let me see, we have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Edgar.
No.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried, thank you. Welcome, we're glad you're investing again in our city, and is there anything you wanted to say while you're here? If you come up so that the people at home can hear you.
Just that we're, honored to be able to do business in the city and continue to do more business in the city that has been so good to us. We do take it very seriously to have the jobs given to community members. We always try to do it today, and we will continue to do so.
Wonderful, wonderful. Glad to have you. Glad you're investing
Thank you, as always.
in our city again.
Thank you.
Let's see. Did we vote? Oh, we did, yep.
We can vote again if you want.
Oh, that was fun.
Make it official.
Accounting reports. Approval for payment of invoices submitted by Garen Luca Miller PC for legal services in the amount of $15,272.86.
I will make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Any
The
just,
lawyers looking out for each other.
the lawyers are looking out for each other, that's it. Cute. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 9B, approval for payment of an invoice submitted by Disick Faber Kaplan for legal services in the total amount of $6,500. This is our prosecuting attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 10 is bids. This was added to the agenda. Request to award the bid for consulting services to update the city's master plan to Giffords Webster for the total amount of $69,885. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. City Manager Eric Tungate, are you going to speak to this?
Sure, Madam Mayor, members of council. I would like to turn it over to Director Maroney, but I would like to say that the city, for the update that is required by state law, by the way, received 7 proposals and evaluated those proposals, and the committee made their decision, and this is their recommendation. I do believe you have some slides you're going to share.
Nope, didn't have any slides I was sharing.
Okay, they're in the packet, though, at least.
They're in the packet. And then I can speak to it a little bit. So we had 7 great proposals. We brought in 4 of the finalists to interview them. And again, a hard decision. We've had some very good proposals recently. But we did whittle it down and make a decision to recommend to City Council to go with Giffords Webster based on their approach. And we think that they will do a great job in helping us to update our city master plan. One of the new requirements per planning is that we include a housing portion. So that is going to be an addition that we need to include in our new master plan. And this process should take approximately 1 year to complete.
And are they going to take this 9-mile intersection study?
Yes, yes. That is one of the plans that we put in our RFP, that we were working on it. So that is one of the items that they will pull into it. Salam was able to help us acquire grant funding through the Redevelopment Ready program, where we get dollars every year for projects like this, and they do a 75% portion of the total cost, and then we are only required to match it up to 25%.
Is that, we pay 79, oh, it's 25% of 69,000?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Madam Mayor, could I just?
Yes.
So Kim, clarify, the original budgeted amount was $75,000, so it came in under budget regardless.
So our budget, what we put in our city budget was $25,000.
Oh, $25,000,
Yeah.
okay. And my other question would be, what is the state requirement? Is it every 5 years?
Every 5 years is to update your plan, and we are at that 5-year mark. We also need to amend it with all of the new facilities we're going to be building here as well.
Is there something happening here? I wasn't.
Just a few things. Yeah, we need to include the housing portion, which was not a requirement previously, so that is a big addition for us.
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Sean Whitehead.
70,000 sounds like a lot of money. Is that about what it cost 5 years ago? I know things cost more now, but
So I will tell you, we wrote the master plan, the first one back in 16 or 17. We did the amendment in-house. We just don't have enough time on our hands these days to do this. I can tell you the price we have in this quote is lower than what most other communities have paid, because we're still doing a lot of the work on our own.
AI does a lot of this stuff, though, now. So.
Yeah, so we're assisting them with this, and that's why we're getting the price we're getting. So this is a lot lower. If you look at just the recreation plan, I believe we paid $150,000 for that.
We did, yes. Yeah, I was going to say.
And that was just recreation.
Yeah. I've done master plans in other communities and things, and I was thinking this would come in more like $125,000. And I would definitely agree with Kim. I think this is much
Yeah,
better
and that's
deal.
because we're doing a lot of the work in-house.
Yeah.
They're not doing the entire thing, we're helping.
Wonderful. Great planning and great follow-up.
Do they need to vote to
Yes.
receive and approve? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm lost. We have a
We have a motion and a
second. Okay, any discussion or questions? Nope, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead
Yes.
and Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
motion carried. Thank you.
Okay. On to the city manager report. Okay, 11A1, Director Maroney, stay right there and go through this one for us, please.
Yes, in front of you is the final approval and pay application, number 9, as well as the change order. And this is to final out our 2024 water main replacement project, M764. This is just to balance out the project and to refund the retainage that we had for $15,000.
Okay, so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead.
Yes.
motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, and we have 11, thanks Kim, 11B1, Finance and Assessing, a resolution to authorize budget amendment 2026-1. Director Sandra Crawford is here.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead, City Council members, City Manager Tungate. Before you is an approval for a resolution to authorize budget number 2026-1. The proposed amendments incorporate expenditures from the fiscal year 24-25 that were not completed at year end and were required to be rolled over, as the actual expense will be incurred in this fiscal year 25-26, along with other adjustments as identified. The general fund amendments is primarily to reflect the balance of several small federal grants not originally budgeted, along with the rollover of capital expenditures budgeted from 24-25 that were not expended for the Municipal Services Department move, along with the 2024 camera replacement project. For the special revenue funds, the library and Parks and Rec funds are rolling over contributions of revenue received in the prior year that will be expended in this fiscal year 25-26. The local street fund is rolling over capital outlay budgeted for the M770 Northfield Road construction project and is increasing revenue for additional Act 51 revenue based on prior year's collections. CDBG is increasing revenue from fiscal year 24-25 that was required to be deferred due to the timing of when reimbursements were received. The Debt Service Fund, a proposed budget for the Community Center Debt Service Fund, includes the required bond debt service on the debt issued in June of 2025, along with the new property tax revenue collected to repay the annual required principal and interest. The capital project funds. The city-owned property fund is being amended to transfer the remaining fund balance to the Hub Construction Fund to offset construction costs. The Hub Construction Fund is creating a budget to match the overall construction budget, including all expenditures and various funding sources. The Parks and Rec Improvement Fund is being amended to remove the amounts originally budgeted for the Hub construction, as they are now budgeted in that new fund. The Special Assessment District Fund is being amended to adjust the original budgets to the current overall projected budget. The Enterprise Fund. The Water and Sewer Fund amendments is to roll over expenditures budgeted remaining from fiscal year 24-25 on 2 construction projects. The proposed budget amendment has an impact on the fund balance of general fund while keeping the estimated fund balance at approximately 17% of annual expenditures. The amendments to all other funds keep the fund balance at targeted ranges and are prepared in compliance with the state of Michigan requirements and guidelines. The recommended action is approval of resolution to authorize budget amendment 2026-1.
Is there a motion yet?
We have, are you making a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Good.
Second.
Thank you. Just discussion or questions. It seemed like in 2000, we were getting $5 million from the state shared revenue. And did I read it right? 4,590 now? So almost up to 2,000 level? Is that correct?
Sandra, do you want to answer that? Or I can take a shot at it if you want.
We're slowly getting back to where we were, yes.
Slowly. So,
Yes.
Well, things were going great for a while, let's just say
Yeah.
that. And now, as of the last budget agreement the state came up with to end their budget short issue, we are set to lose about, I think it's 90,000 in, or is it a little more than that?
It's about that.
About that in state shared revenue.
Yeah.
But Mayor, if you went back to the year 2000, and I've done this, so I can tell you, and you looked at in a cumulative value, how much we have lost from what we were getting in the year 2000 versus all the years to now, the number is somewhere in the range of $24 to $25 million that was taken from us by the state.
yes.
We should enact some tariffs.
We should what?
We should enact some tariffs.
Yes. True. Thank you so much. We have a motion to,
So moved.
okay, and a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote to accept the budget amendment.
Councilmember Edgar?
Yes.
Mayor McClellan?
Yes.
Councilmember Radner?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead?
Yes.
And Councilmember Crawford?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Crawford. And now we have 11C1. We have our friend David DeCoster is back at the podium. Hi, Dave.
Hello, good evening again. Before you tonight is pay application 5 and change order 3 for the Event Hub project. The construction manager, architect, and city administration have approved this payment. The change orders for construction and field changes associated with this project. Our construction manager, Frank Rierwald and Sons, will disperse these funds to the various contractors on behalf of the city. This payment is for a period ending October 31st, 2025. Currently, we're about 35% complete with the project, and it is recommended that the Event Hub pay application number 5 and change order number 3 for the amounts of $720,050.09 and $0 be approved. Funding is available in the Event Hub fund. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
We need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions about the payment for the Event Hub?
I do, Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Edgar.
How far along are we in paying this off?
So price-wise, we're about 35% complete. It varies a little bit with what trades are out there and what they're at, but I would say 35 to 40% complete.
And it's stayed within budget?
Yes, we are on budget, on time and on budget right now.
So the weather has been good to us.
Yes.
How long do you think they'll continue to work?
They will work all winter. So we'll get to it with the city manager's Elevate update, but they're going to work all winter inside that building.
Great. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Motion
Thank you.
carried, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dave, and
Yay.
I'm going to ask you to stay right there for the Elevate Oak Park update, council members. So, council members, at your seats, I've included a packet. I've asked Benny to put it up on the screen if he can. There we go. So this is going to be the new format for the Event Hub and Band Shell Construction Progress Report updates that I'm going to be giving to you at the second meeting of every month. I'm not going to read this in its entirety. We've talked about the Event Hub a lot tonight. I do want to point you to page 2, which is really the summary of where things are as of October, November. As Dave mentioned, the financial summary at the bottom there, we are about 40% billed, and the project is about 35 to 40% completed. I think just a couple of quick things I wanted to point out. You may have noticed that we are also adding a drive over at our library where we're gonna, I think it's being poured
Today, I believe.
Today, was it? Which will allow patrons to come in and out of the library parking lot much easier. I also wanted to mention that the floor for the Event Hub space itself has now been poured inside. And I think they're gonna pour the band shell floor this week. And then, you know, the internal work, obviously, they've got the buildings partitioned off now. The internal work will begin in earnest now over the course of the winter. I have no reason to believe this project isn't going to be built every bit on time and, of course, under budget or within budget. Any things you want to add, Dave?
I did, so Mayor and Council, your packet there does have some pictures. Those pictures are about 2 weeks old because they're end of the month. I did provide Benny with some updated pictures from today and this week.
Can you go back to the one with the
If you
floor?
go back one to the city manager's comment, the
There we go.
floor is now poured in the Event Hub area. You can see the carpenters have visqueened off and plastic off the big garage door openings. That wood there is an opening for the construction crews to enter and exit because the building will be heated throughout the winter. This is a pitch in. The far end is the commercial kitchen. As you get closer, some of those plumbing fixtures coming out of the ground, the pipes is the restrooms. So all the underground mechanicals are now installed, just the piping for it. So electrical, mechanical, plumbing. Again, this is the Event Hub area. I think there's a couple other ones on here as well. So this is the exterior. They're working on the air barrier and the masonry work. You'll see the soffits are getting built underneath the canopy. I believe the next picture is the far corner of the commercial kitchen where the block is now up. So all those areas you
Just
saw in that last
curious,
picture.
what's the blue color and the other color? and-
It's a vapor barrier between the block and the veneer block. So they put a insulation there, and it's like a vapor water barrier.
So it's not
you can
insulation
see-
like paper, it's paint?
No, it's designed that way. The bottom black is waterproofing. All those areas there with the plastic are garage doors that will open up for events and things that we have. And I think the last picture is some of the block that's being installed on the commercial kitchen. Yeah, there's some of the split face block that's being installed.
And that's
in
the
front.
final facade brick
That there,
block of the.
correct, is the
yeah.
final facade,
Yeah, it
yep.
looks great.
And I also gave, I also, and I don't know if the city manager wants to set this up, I provided some pictures for Oak Park Woods as well.
Oh, good.
I can go over those if you'd like.
Please.
Okay, so this is the warming kitchen and storage room on the now west side of the shelter. You'll see a little window there, and there's a small countertop. Inside that first room is a new and improved warming kitchen. We'll have some light amenities, and it will allow people that rent the pavilion to warm up their food and things like that. The whole back area is storage, which is about, 15 times bigger than it was before. This is under the pavilion. You'll see we have some new wood framing there that they're going to be installing. The concrete has been poured under the existing pavilion, so that work will be continuing. This area is the main part where the play structures are. There are a couple $1 million worth of play structures are going to be installed in this area. This will, for the most part, all be a poured-in-place, safe, accessible surface that kids will be able to play on. You can see some of the hills in there, especially on the left and right side. There are
Fabulous.
elevation
Isn't that
changes that kids can roll up and down some hills, and there's some rope climbs and things. This is some of the area they're paving. As you come from Shelter 2, you can kind of see the forms. This is some of the new concrete sidewalk they're getting ready to pour. It may be poured, this picture was last week. It may be poured by now, but that whole area is all a sidewalk as it comes together near the shelter and where it wraps around the park. And I think so that's the new bathroom. Originally, they were going to go a precast bathroom like we did a couple years ago, but lead times were extended, so they decided to stick build it, so it's a traditional wood construction. And then the last picture, DT, we finally got our streetlights
It's
up.
nice to have the bathroom and the kitchen separated.
Yeah. So the streetlights, there's 3 new decorative streetlights in the park. Those were delivered and installed last week. So you can see some of the landscape blocks there and our new street lighting. That street lighting is the same as on 9 Mile, and it's the same as the 9 lights we have at the event hub. So very stylish and effective. That might be, yeah, that's it.
Thank
So,
you.
Council members, I won't give any other updates on that. We've talked about the community center already a little bit this evening. Dave, great job on all the projects that you work on for us. I'm so excited about where we're going here as a city, so I'll take any questions, and if not, that completes the city manager report for this evening.
Any questions for the city manager? No. Call to the audience. Do you want to read them?
Call to the audience. Each speaker's remarks are a matter of public record. The speaker alone is responsible for his or her comments, and the City of Oak Park does not, by permitting such remarks, support, endorse, or accept the content thereof as being true or accurate. Any person while being heard at a city council meeting may be called to order by the chair or any council member for failure to be germane to the business of the city, vulgarity, or personal attacks on persons or institutions. There is a 3-minute time limit per speaker.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I have 4 cards. First up, Elizabeth Fritz Cottle.
Hi, good evening, council. Apologies for the hat. It was a work from home day. Yes, I wanted to come today to, I'm sure you may not be aware, there was quite a lot of police activity between Oak Park Public Safety and Border Patrol, the U.S. Border Patrol at Roanoke and Woodside Drive today. I live on Woodside Drive. When I observed that, I decided to walk down with my phone to just see what's going on in this heightened environment, my community. I want to make sure that everything is, that I'm involved as much as civilly possible. And I wanted to let you know that as I was approaching, I did have my phone out and the video rolling. The police officer with Oak Park Public Safety, there were several. One of them told me that I needed to go back inside because it was an active crime scene, and they needed to bring the dogs out into the middle of the street, or a dog out in the middle of the street to track. And so when I asked why, another police officer came up to me and said, you need to step back, you're obstructing, you could be obstructing justice, and you're in the process of obstructing justice. And I did comply. I was polite and did so. Nothing happened after that, so that was kind of the framework. I just wanted to bring to your attention that was kind of what started out my thinking around this. I feel that Oak Park Public Safety, which I think is evaluated at 55% of our general fund, right? So 55 cents of every dollar that I pay in a tax to City of Oak Park is going to the Public Safety Department. And I have the video, and I'm not, the way that I was spoken to and addressed was a manner that I feel was unnecessarily confrontational for an individual who was complying and was following, you know, kind of the First Amendment rights that I have to record and to observe and not obstruct. I just think it would behoove public safety to remind those public servants who are working there that the residents are entitled to observe and record during the course of their duties, as long as we are not obstructing, and that the community residents, particularly now in this heightened environment, do feel that a good deal of us, if you look at Facebook and all these places, that due process is worth recording and watching. And that, and I think that was my time. So I apologize for running over. Thank you very much for.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Don't be a stranger, come again.
Thank you.
Julia Westenberg.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Julia, and I'm a resident here in Oak Park. I'm a nurse, a mom, and I'm 47 years old, and this is the first time I've ever felt so moved to attend a city council meeting. I'm here tonight because I witnessed a video taken tonight that took place down on Roanoke Street, just down the street from my own home. And it was very violent and unacceptable. A Border Patrol agent threw a woman to the ground, tased her, and dragged her into a truck. I really recommend you go watch the video when you get home if you have not seen that. And that was just down the street from my own house where me and my little girl live. I don't know the details of this altercation, but nonetheless, it leaves me with so many questions, the main concern being that witnesses did not see an EMS called to the scene. When a law enforcement tases someone, the standard of care should be medical evaluation. Okay, this isn't happening in a vacuum. Michigan has seen a nearly 150% increase in ICE arrests, and many ICE leadership positions are being filled by the current or former Border Patrol agents. To me, that really blurs the line between Border Patrol and ICE these days. Additionally, federal agents are now operating aggressively in cities just like ours with almost no local oversight. I'm asking this council to seek answers and accountability. Why are federal immigrant agents using this level of force in our city? What is their role here? What is the relationship between our own taxpayer-funded police department and these federal agents? I just feel like we really deserve transparency. We deserve safety, and we deserve to know that the people enforcing laws in our city aren't harming the people who live here. And that's all I have to say, so thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you for coming in. It takes courage to come in and talk, and bravo.
Next up, Kenneth Sherman.
Good evening, Ken Sherman, Jerome Street, Oak Park. The gentleman who presented the slideshow on the development of 9 Mile Road, to me as a resident, what was not discussed nor were questions raised by City Council, in my estimation, had to do with how is all this going to be addressed by public safety in terms of providing services by public safety, which has a less than full department of public safety. We don't have enough staffing as it is. So if you're going to do all this increase in housing and, what was described in the slideshow, where does public safety get the additional staffing to provide services to the residents and businesses that are coming in? And also what was not discussed was how is the need for additional municipal services besides public safety going to be addressed? Where is that staffing going to come from to provide services to new businesses, new housing, new residents? Thank you.
Thank you.
Don Jones.
Last person to speak. You're going to make a mistake. Anyway, I just wanted to associate myself with your remarks. We knew that it was coming. We need a policy. We need to know what is local law enforcement going to do when the federalization of our police is occurring. It's a problem. I don't know how much of the 55% that goes to public safety comes from federal and state funds, but it's a lot. And when they come knocking on the door and say, we're going to take your funds unless you work with ICE, I don't know what I'd do. So we better think about it because it's rolling this way. But anyway, on another, to go back to a positive thing, I love living in Oak Park. I'm excited about Oak Park. I tell everybody to move to Oak Park. I think it's great that we're going to have an event hub. Yeah, whereas in the past, the Recreation Department has had Labor Day off, that leaves the event hub open for me. So we're only 10 months out, so it's not too early to start planning. The people that are planners, I need your help. And thank you very much. It's a great job. Appreciate all you do, all staff does. I appreciate the people in the audience and the people at home and the people that will watch this on the
Thank you.
video. Thanks.
Thank you. Anything further? Now it's called to the council. Benny, do you have a couple pictures in there for me? One minute. Ha. The Oak Park Youth Assistance always does something special at the holidays for our residents who are in financial straits. And now, with all the new happenings, we have more of us having financial problems. If you are at all able, please buy a holiday gift card and take it into the library. It will be donated anonymously to one of our needy families. We can use your help. If you'd rather, I put this on my Facebook page also, and it's on the city Facebook page. There's a QR code. If you don't want to go and purchase the gift card and bring it in, you can donate directly through that QR code. And let's take care of each other during this holiday time. Thank you so much for that one. Next slide, Benny. Nope. Any more? Nope. Okay. We will, you can imagine the pictures then. There was a climate summit yesterday put on by Amida Detroit. And it was on Stewarding the Earth Summit. And I thought we all actually have climate anxiety. We're worried about what's happening to the climate in the world and the environment. And it's time to turn our anxiety into some positive action. The class I attended was about getting your teens involved. The Detroit Zoo has a program for high school kids during their vacation times. There's a Green Fest in April. They do recycling of electronics and other things. The zoo's famous zoo poop compost buy is always available and popular. But the teens can help with this during their school breaks. There is another group called Repair the World. It's a national service organization, and their focus is on the environment, planting food gardens, getting youth and family engaged. Repair the World. Another one, right across 11 Mile in Berkeley is Yad Ezra, which has a garden and a place to give food, and they're looking for help, especially in the spring. So that was a worthwhile thing. Then Emily at the library used to run a vintage store. So when she puts on her free teas in the library every second Tuesday at 2 o'clock, the tables are set with vintage tablecloths, which is kind of fun. And it gets a bunch of people who don't know each other together to be a community, and more of that is needed. So thank you, Emily, in the library. Mayor Pro Tem Sean Whitehead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Have a good night, everybody. We've had a productive council session tonight. Lots of big things in the way in the upcoming years, and we're super excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Solomon Radner.
I just want to speak for a moment about the issue that the two ladies raised about the law enforcement and the Border Patrol. And just to give you an idea of where this is coming from my perspective, there's two things that I do as a lawyer. I'm a civil rights lawyer, and in that capacity, I have sued law enforcement in probably 24 states. I also have a policy in my office that if you're law enforcement or military, I work for you for free. So I'm not anti-police at all. I'm very pro-police, so long as they're doing their jobs. But that 1% really creates a problem. With that in mind, I've watched certainly hundreds of videos of law enforcement interacting with the public and people's cell phone videos, dash cam videos, body cam videos, and so on. And it's very easy to get caught up in whatever it is that's being shared. Obviously, we have to know the full extent of what happened. And if the Border Patrol agent in that video did something wrong, it's certainly documented, and I would hope that he's going to be held accountable. I don't know, because I saw the clip going around. It's short. We don't really know what led up to it. And it certainly seems questionable, but I can think of a number of ways in which it certainly, there's mitigating factors. As far as what our law enforcement officers did or what you say they did, so long as it's recorded, you can certainly show our police chief. We have one of the very best police chiefs that I've ever dealt with or worked with. And he calls balls and strikes the way they are. So if you show him something that somebody did that's wrong, he'll take action. But at the same time, when you're on a crime scene, certainly, especially if you don't know what's going on or why people are being arrested or what the police activity is all about, I tell my clients this all the time. Just do what they say. You're not going to win an argument with the police on the street. If they say back up, back up. They're allowed to do that. They're allowed to tell you, you can record, but you got to back up. They're not allowed to tell you that you're not allowed to record. And they're not allowed to, there's all kinds of restrictions of what they're allowed to do. But if you're getting close to a crime scene and they tell you to back up, it's just best to back up. You can keep your recording on, but back up, because you definitely don't want to interfere. And again, if you see something that you think is problematic, bring it to the police chief's attention. Chief Cooper, Director Cooper is one of the best out there. Okay, but thank you both for coming in and voicing your concern.
Thank you.
Not now.
After the meeting. Councilmember Julie Edgar.
I concur with Councilman Radner that our public safety department is a very good department, and they respect people's rights. However, I'm with you on this one. I think we are in the middle of a moral crisis in this country, and I don't know who these agents are that we're cooperating with because they're masked and they don't have identification. This is a problem. There's lots of unconstitutional activity going on. Thank you for taping that. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. We know it's not going to go anywhere because everybody's doing this now, right? So I have talked to our city manager about perhaps creating some sort of ordinance that prohibits our public safety department from working with these federal agents, whoever they are. And I think there's a sense of trepidation because if we don't, we stand to lose, and it draws attention to Oak Park, and we don't want to get ourselves into any sort of bind. On the other hand, I think sometimes you need to take a stand and get in that bind, because we're not going to see an end to this if people comply with these agents, masked agents. So anyway, it's all distressing, and once again, I'm angry about what's happening in this country. So thank you for coming in.
Councilmember Stephanie Crawford.
On a lighter note, I'd like to remind all of our residents, about our holiday pantry giveaway. It's sponsored by the City of Oak Park, our Public Safety, Forgotten Harvest, and the Chaldean American Chamber of Commerce. It's on Wednesday, November 19th, from 2 to 4 p.m. They will be passing out baskets to the first 250 vehicles. So if you know someone who is struggling this year, have food insecurities, please invite them. With the holiday coming up, shop local. We got some, I know Councilwoman Edgar always promotes our local shops, and we got some wonderful shops here in Oak Park. And for anyone celebrating the holiday, I just want to say, have a wonderful holiday. Stay safe, stay warm, and again, always be kind to one another. And good night.
Where is this pantry giveaway November 19th?
The pantry giveaway is at the Our Mother of Perpetual Help.
The old Fatima Church.
The address is 13500 Oak Park Boulevard.
Bring your mittens.
Bring your mittens. It's gonna be cold?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be there.
Thank you for coming and participating. There being no further business to come before this council, this meeting is adjourned. And I need the little girl to come up here and help me with the gavel.
I don't know that we've ever done as much business.